Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the deepest secrets and most shocking twists from the world of Beyond the Gates. What you are about to experience is not just a spoiler, but a descent into betrayal, madness, and the kind of chaos that forever reshapes the fragile balance within the Dupree dynasty. Naomi had always clung to the idea that Jacob was the one constant in her storm. Among the whispers of deceit, the feuds for inheritance, and the suffocating weight of the Dupree legacy, Jacob's quiet loyalty had been her refuge. She believed he was her anchor, the one place where the cruelty of the world could not touch her. But illusions can shatter with brutal precision, and hers fell apart the moment a series of anonymous messages invaded her phone. At first, she thought it was a mistake, some cruel prank meant to destabilize her. Yet the blurred clips and shadowy photos gradually revealed undeniable truths: Jacob was not hers alone. He had been giving himself to Kat, the one woman Naomi had always trusted without question, the sister she chose when life felt unbearable. The betrayal was not ordinary, it was surgical, cutting into Naomi's very sense of existence. To lose Jacob was one wound, but to lose Kat to treachery was unbearable. In one violent stormy night, Naomi's grief erupted into destruction. Shards of glass littered the bedroom as she tore through the memories of her so-called happiness. A mirror cracking under the weight of her fury until it fractured into jagged pieces reflecting her twisted expression. Her tears had long dried, replaced by an unrecognizable blaze of rage and despair. Naomi no longer saw herself as the victim of betrayal. She began to perceive herself as a vessel for retribution. From that night onward, Naomi slipped deeper into a labyrinth of obsession. She began following Jacob's movements, writing down every mundane errand, every unexplained absence, every carefully rehearsed excuse. She scrutinized Kat's life with the meticulousness of a predator stalking prey, her notes swelling into pages of patterns and codes only she could understand. It was not enough to simply know. She needed proof. She needed to relive their deceit with her own eyes. A shadowy figure was paid handsomely to install hidden cameras within Kat's apartment, feeding Naomi a steady stream of secrets. Each frame became both torture and fuel, each kiss and touch another knife twisting inside her. But Naomi did not allow the anguish to consume her passively. She transformed it into something darkly purposeful. The basement beneath her house became a sanctuary of madness. Walls once bare now groaned under the weight of photographs printed and stabbed through with pins, strings connecting faces and moments in a web of accusation. Ink in the deepest shade of red was scrawled in fury across every surface, phrases of damnation and vengeance that pulsed with the rhythm of her unrelenting obsession. They will pay. I will end this. The air itself thickened with her torment, as though the room absorbed her rage and amplified it. Naomi was no longer tethered to the woman she had been. She was a force untethered, spiraling, crafting plans as meticulously as she once crafted dreams of a family. Her decision crystallized with terrifying clarity. She would invite them back into her world under the pretense of forgiveness. She would mask her fire beneath a smile, cloak her venom in words of reconciliation. The stage would be her home, dressed for peace but designed for catastrophe. A party to mend old wounds, she would say. An evening of laughter and healing. But beneath the glittering facade lay something monstrous. In the kitchen, she prepared drinks that glistened with sweetness, yet within one glass lingered a bitterness that could not be undone. Every detail was accounted for. The positioning of the lights, the music chosen for its nostalgic undertone, the guest list narrowed down to those whose absence would ensure no suspicion. The centerpiece of her plot was hidden not in the living room where laughter would echo, but in the basement where her shrine of vengeance waited. There, in the shadows of her obsession, something irreversible was concealed. A secret concoction, a trap designed not merely to hurt but to annihilate. Naomi had created a moment that would not simply expose betrayal, but immortalize it in horror. What made Naomi's descent even more terrifying was the uncertainty of her target. She never whispered Jacob's name with clarity in her rants, nor Kat's with finality. Her madness blurred the lines between them, twisting their faces into one monstrous reflection of her suffering. Neither Jacob nor Kat could ever predict whether Naomi's wrath would descend upon one of them or consume them both entirely. And perhaps, in her mind, destroying them both was the only way to heal the wound carved into her soul. The night approached with chilling inevitability. Naomi rehearsed her mask before the cracked mirror she had refused to replace. She practiced her laughter, the tilt of her head, the warmth in her eyes that no longer reached her soul. Upstairs, the house was polished to perfection, the atmosphere deceptively inviting. Downstairs, the basement pulsed with menace, its walls a silent witness to the fate Naomi intended to unleash. Jacob entered the house first, unaware that the woman who greeted him so tenderly was no longer the wife he thought he knew. Kat followed soon after, hesitant, perhaps sensing the tension that rippled beneath Naomi's smile. But Naomi's charm was unyielding, disarming, drawing them both into her carefully spun illusion. Glasses clinked, the evening unfolded, and the storm that had once shattered Naomi's heart now gathered in silence within her home. In that suspended moment, as laughter mingled with false reconciliation, the truth stood poised to strike. The drinks waited, the basement held its secret, and Naomi herself had become the embodiment of a ticking clock. No one at that table could fathom whether they would leave alive, or if Naomi's vengeance would consume them both in the fire of her shattered devotion. Naomi was no longer a victim. She was no longer a wife betrayed or a friend forsaken. She had transformed into a weapon sharpened by grief, polished by fury, and set to ignite in the most devastating explosion of betrayal ever to unfold within the walls of the Dupree legacy. Her vengeance was not a matter of if, but when, and the only certainty that remained was that when the final moment arrived, Jacob and Kat would understand the depth of the hell they had unleashed. This is Beyond the Gates at its darkest, where love turns to poison, trust corrodes into madness, and forgiveness becomes a mask for the most unspeakable acts. Stay with us for more shocking spoilers, and don't forget to follow and subscribe to our channel so you never miss the next revelation.